Welcome to Raw Emotions, a podcast with Isaac, Will, Tim, and Oscar.
Alright, well,
nailed the intro.
Intro's perfect.
All right, let's wrap it for today. We'll come back at it fresh eyes tomorrow.
500 hits easy.
So Raw Emotion is a podcast where we think of random subjects or questions to talk about or ask each other, and we don't reveal it until the time of the podcast, and then we roll a dice to see whose turn it is to talk. So everything is going to be completely random and unknown to us as well, except for the person asking the question.
And it could be raw.
And
You could
emotional.
call it raw.
Monday Night Raw. Because it is Monday.
That's true.
And it's
No, it's not night. 309.
I got a question.
Well, alright. We'll wait for your turn.
Alright.
I guess.
Isaac, you're number 1. Oscar's number 2. William's 3. And I will be number 4. Which I really hope it doesn't roll 4 right now.
That's Tim doesn't know.
2. Oscar, you
Alright,
won to
you
go.
got a question and here you
Perfect.
go. Speak clear into
All
your
right.
microphone.
Speak.
Curious about
Speak
the
now and
least enjoyable movie you've seen in theaters. Not the worst movie, the least enjoyable.
Least
Oh,
Enjoyable.
least enjoyable. That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
I already know my answer.
I have.
Alright,
mine
go
as
for it,
well.
Tim.
Alright, I got my answer right here. Young adult. It's not only the worst movie ever made, ever.
Whoa.
It was the worst experience I ever had in theaters because I watched it in the theaters with my wife, and it was probably the most awkward movie. It's only PG-13, but they managed to get in the most awkward scenes you will ever watch. Do not watch it.
Charlize
It's
Theron's
terrible.
in that, isn't
Yes, she is in that movie, and she is horrible. Worst actress I've ever seen.
Ooh, that's...
That was
Well-
literally the worst movie I've ever seen.
That's bad.
It was bad. It was really, really bad.
You've seen some bad movies.
I have seen some bad
I don't
movies, and
know.
that was
I
the
think
worst. Like, if I was going on IMDb, that would be a 1. If I could rate it a 0, I would.
I would say the worst movie experience I ever had was watching Jonah Hex. Have any of you seen Jonah Hex?
I've
not.
heard a lot about it, but
I haven't
not
seen it yet.
Jonah Hex is absolute garbage. Like,
Not
you
even
think it would
enjoyable
be
bad?
fun, bad, but it's the most boring movie I've ever seen. Like, I literally fell asleep. Seth was okay, but, like, I fell asleep during a movie that was supposed to be just stupid fun, and it was boring.
I'll have to watch both of them so I can go back to you next week.
Well, Tim fell asleep during Expendables.
I did fall asleep during The Expendables.
See, but you can admit The Expendables is not boring.
No, The Expendables was great. I was just
It was a
exhausted.
midnight show.
Yeah, and I worked like 16
We went
hours
at,
the day
like,
before.
10 in the morning. We went to, like, the first possible show, and I fell asleep.
So you woke up, drove to the theater,
Yeah.
and then fell asleep once you got there.
It was horrible. I hated it.
Easily Silver Surfer 2 Rise. Or Fantastic Four 2 Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer 2,
Rises.
the unreleased movie.
Silver Surfer Rises.
But that one was pretty
It's so bad.
That might be mine as well. That one
Seeing
was
Doctor Doom
pretty
on a
enjoyable.
surfboard was
Sounds
I don't-
awesome.
comic book heresy.
I don't know. Night at the Museum 2 was also a pretty bad experience for me.
Like, I'm trying to think
Which
of
one?
one.
Night at the Museum 2, because I saw that at a perspective at Boise Bible College.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was like 30 degrees in the theater. It was like
Oh.
freezing cold. And I fell asleep, and I was like super uncomfortable. And then afterwards, we were in the van, or in the bus on the way back, and this guy I barely know falls asleep on me and like drools all down my chest. It's disgusting. But not as bad as Oscar's
So
experience
that
on
wasn't
It's true.
as like much the movie though as
That was just the
everything
experience.
else.
I
Yeah.
guess that can be considered too, though. Like, I mean, we could branch this out to just worst movie experience.
Well, that's what you asked. You asked the worst experience.
that's true.
It's true.
Mine might be
What
like
about out of
Iron
theaters?
Man. Iron Man, because I was so hot that I literally sat in the theater in one of those white undershirt tank top things,
Ugh.
and I looked just terrible. But it was so
you
hot
probably,
in the
you
theater.
probably look like John McClane.
I looked like The Rock. Let's be honest.
All right,
No, it was
But-
pretty.
be honest.
It was super uncomfortable. Like, I was sweating in a white tank
Yeah.
top.
Even though this movie's great, District 9, I had a pretty bad experience because I nearly passed out in the middle of that movie. Just for, like, no reason. I don't know why. I had to go up and, like, get a soda in the lobby, which I was broke, so I, like, spent, like, my last $5 on a soda.
Your life savings.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, man, this sucks.
You're like, right now, this is worth it.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm literally like, I'm gonna die.
I promised someone I'd watch this movie, and the worst experience ever, and really awkward, was, what is her name?
Oh, boy.
I have a feeling this is gonna be good.
It's not, I want to say Betty Ross, but I don't think it's...
Betty White.
No, it's the,
Betsy Ross.
No,
the girl who did it.
No,
the girl who did
you
the American flag.
No, the old...
They're like, this is for you, Betsy.
The pinup model.
The what?
What?
I have no idea.
The old pinup model that's kind
Why
of
would
famous.
I know about old Betty models?
I don't know.
It's not my field of
Betty
expertise.
Page.
Betty Page, that's who it
It's
is.
American history.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
I have no idea.
and I watched
Yeah,
it by
it's crazy.
and it was awkward. And I didn't want to watch it, but I was like, okay.
I think I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I always see those mugs that they have at her at Hastings, and I'm like,
I know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
those are like terrible like products. It's like you pour coffee in them and it heats them up, and then like her clothing disappears.
I know. And you're like, people are like, this is tasteful.
Like, how is that tasteful at all?
Tasteful.
So bad that your coffee inside loses taste.
What in the world? That is bizarre.
But I think that some of the movies that I have the worst experience watching are musicals in theaters. Even if it's a really good movie, there's always that one person somewhere nearby who knows all the songs. So unless you go and see a musical that was not released in any other form on its like opening day, you're gonna get that person.
Did someone sing at Les Mis?
There were, well, thankfully not when we went. I didn't hear anyone.
I was belting I Dreamed a Dream.
I dreamed a dream of time gone by.
But I've gone to like
Raw Emotions is also a musical.
I've gone to like Disney movies with music or whatever before, and like people sing those, and then it's like, or like really, like older movies that are really famous, and people like quote the whole thing through. Like,
Dude, I watched.
I went into the Goonies.
This was actually a good one.
That was pretty bad.
episode 1 when it came out.
Ugh.
People were quoting that whole thing, and it's not bad enough when Anakin himself like says like wizard over and over.
Dude, there's this cool theater in Portland where I went with Taylor and James, and they serve you food and stuff, and like you can get drinks there, and like we watched Predator there, and like it was cool just because we were so into it, but everybody else was into it. Like during the handshake,
Yeah,
like people went nuts. Like they just stood up and they were like, "Yeah!" They started
That's
clapping
awesome.
and stuff, and it was really fun.
that's kind of what it was like when Seth and I went to watch Ghostbusters.
But like,
with
if
Connor.
you had never seen the movie, like I'm sure you
It would've
just get
ruined
super annoyed.
That well, like that's what Ghostbusters was like too. Like that was the kind of crowd where I don't know. I guess there's a difference between everyone quoting Bill Murray and like laughing hysterically, and then everyone quoting like Jar Jar Binks and being like annoyed.
Yeah,
Like-
Lisa. Yeah, I think it's annoying.
As far as unenjoyable movie experiences go, I won't say any names, but I was dating a girl, and for whatever reason, like all the movies we watched in our relationship, I didn't enjoy, and I rewatched most of them.
Sounds like a personal problem.
and I've enjoyed them.
Yeah, that's not.
So that has nothing
That's
to do with
definitely
the
not the
movies.
movie.
That's definitely the experience alone.
I know. So we're talking about experiences. So
That was
True.
just your poor decision making.
sometimes the company can clearly affect your opinions. Like when we rewatched, what was it? The one with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis.
Dude, Chaplin.
Due Date.
You know, speaking of movie experiences, what is a movie from your childhood? This isn't my question. This is a stem off question.
All right.
It's a cheat question. You can new rule. You can have one cheat question per question.
Snap.
So
Do I
So
get a
I'm
cheat
allowed to have a
too?
question per question, but then I'm still allowed to have a
You
question.
get one question per question.
perception.
If you have another question about that question, you get that question.
You get the question. All right. Here's my question for the question. Movie. As far as movie experiences go, is there a movie from your childhood that it's a completely different like experience from when you like watch it now. Like for instance, I watch like Indiana Jones now, and I used to watch Indiana Jones all the time, and there are so many like innuendos and jokes that I did not pick up when I was a kid. I just could watch Indiana Jones and like be happy with it being a guy going around like being an adventurer and like fighting guys and stuff. But then now that I'm older and I understand more things, it's just like so many little jokes like between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford in Last Crusade, especially. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And there's some things that a kid doesn't need to know about, and it's pretty funny though, like in a mess up kind of way. Is there any movie like that for you guys?
Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
You watch it as a kid because it's awesome.
Oh.
What'd you say?
Wow. Oscars used to watch Passion apparently, and now sees it in a different light. I hope that's a good thing.
Passion
The Christ.
of El Cristo?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
I've been a lot of dead air right here.
Well,
No, my answer is no.
There's a lot
My
of...
answer is yes, actually. There are a lot of movies that I
There's
watched
a lot
as
of
a
movies
kid
that changed.
that I'm like, I didn't understand half the stuff. And
Oh,
now I'm
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's totally a joke.
There's
and then, but I'm
even
like,
cartoon shows.
Oh, yeah.
Like SpongeBob. I'm like, what?
well, like Phineas and Ferb, like they make a bunch of references that I'm like, oh yeah, little kids aren't going to get that, but I totally get it, and it's
Yeah.
hilarious. And that's a new show.
It's true.
Growing up with my sisters, I had two older sisters, and they would always watch like PG-13 R-rated movies, and I would sneak in and watch them with them all the time. And I never got any of it until I was older, and I was like, ooh.
I was like, oh.
Those are,
This Oscar rant is brought
And I
to
was
you
like,
by-
oh.
yeah, I get it.
We'll
I
let
never
it
got
go.
any of it. Then I got it and I was like,
I
oh.
got all of it.
What was your reaction when you got it?
My reaction, I was like, yeah, I didn't.
No, you were like, oh.
And then later his reaction was like, oh.
That's how you review movies, Oscar.
All right, who's got the next topic?
Yeah. All right.
All right, topic
Time to roll the
conversation.
dice.
Topic numero deuce.
All right, let's see. I hope it's not me because I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. It is not. It is William.
All right.
Ooh.
Here it is. I'm gonna go a little nostalgic. Did you all own a Super Nintendo?
Yes, I
Yes.
did.
I still
What
own it.
was your favorite Super Nintendo game and why?
Donkey Kong Country is the greatest
All right,
game ever
Tim,
made.
take this mic.
All right, here we go.
You got a handle on this.
All right, Donkey Kong Country is the greatest game ever made. 2 reasons: monkeys are awesome, bananas are awesome. Nothing else needs to be said. Okay,
That has nothing
that has nothing to do with
that's
why
just
the
like-
game.
yeah.
That's not why the game is awesome. But I do love this game. I love it. It's a perfect platformer.
All
You
right.
can play through it. I can play through the entire game in like an afternoon. It was really hard when I was a kid. Now it's still difficult. Like the first levels, I'm like, oh man, I breezed through the first 3 worlds in like 10 minutes. But then like it gets harder. So it was hard for a kid, but enjoyable. Still hard now as an adult. And so I think that's why it's the best game ever made. It has relevancy for everybody. Boom.
Wait, you're not just
Answer.
saying best game from SNES games.
No. It's the best game
You're
ever
saying
made.
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country is the greatest game ever made.
It's a pretty bold
That is a
statement,
bold
friends.
statement, but I know that Tim lives by that statement, so I have not tried to refute it in a long time.
I would say my favorite SNES game is probably Mario Kart.
Oh, Super Mario Kart is good.
That's the game I've probably logged
All
the
right.
most hours in my lifetime.
I've never been good at any variation of Mario Kart, so I've never really enjoyed
But
it.
it's still fun.
I-
It's still really fun. And like you can't lose by a ton unless
Okay.
you just drive in a
I
circle
don't think you understand
and
how
hit the
bad I
barrier.
am.
Because you'll get a shell. You can at least hit somebody.
So I'm gonna counter Tim's point, even though I know better, and I'm gonna say that probably I think the best platformer was Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. Like when you bought a Super Nintendo, you could there were 2 you could choose. You could either pick Donkey Kong Country side or you could pick Super Mario World side. And from the beginning, my family picked Super Mario World side, and that's just because my dad liked Mario more. And so he's like, I want to get Mario, and he was obviously the one paying for it because I was like 5 or something. But so I think that game, the variation in level types, the length of gameplay, like that game is long.
Yeah, it is.
That's true.
It offers, and it doesn't. The
Bonus levels
gameplay,
again.
yeah, the gameplay doesn't like depreciate over time. It's like the same quality of gameplay throughout the whole game, though. Like that's one of my counterpoints, I guess, for that. So I'm done counterpointing Tim on best platforming action for Super Nintendo, but best, like my favorite game, I don't know why. Like it's considered a really great game, but I hardly ever played it. When I was a little kid, I didn't really know how to play it, but I just like to play it for some reason. It was Super Mario RPG.
I love that game.
That game is...
And I hate RPGs, but I love that game.
That was like the hardest game as a kid, though. Like, I didn't even know how to beat like the first 2 levels. But I played it all the stinking time.
Like, I seriously hate, like, Final Fantasy, all those games, you name it, I hate it. Mario RPG, I love that game.
That
It's
game
fun.
is sweet.
It's awesome.
It's probably the best turn-based, like, fighting system. Like, I'm like, this is awesome.
Dude, random tangent, by the way. A friend of mine owns storage lockers in Cosgrove, and we opened up this one, and this dude had all these, like, it had been, 4 months since he collected, so we opened it up, because he skipped town at this point, the guy. We opened up his storage locker to see what he had in there, and he had a bunch of Super Nintendo games, and he had Earthbound in the box.
Shoot.
In the box.
Did you get it?
We sold it.
Oh.
Yeah, we sold it for $300.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Earthbound goes for big.
As soon as I saw it, I was just like, no way. Earthbound. And then he had like Chrono Trigger, which we sold for like $75.
Yeah, that
And he had Super Mario RPG, which I just kept.
nice.
But it was awesome. It was crazy. I'd never seen a copy of Earthbound, and I was just like,
I only have like behind glass with
Yeah.
hefty price tag.
They have it at the, I don't remember. There's a used game store in Eugene that they have it at, and it's like, they're selling it for like $250. I'm like, yeah, that's not worth it to me, but it does look sweet. I've always wanted to play it ever since I was little.
I said,
see, but that's an RPG.
Yeah,
It
So
is.
I'm not real into it.
yeah.
I never played it, but we owned it when I was younger. And, like, I owned a lot of SNES games, but my sister lent them to a friend and just complications, but I never got the big draw of it. Just wasn't my style game. I think favorite SNES game is probably Super Metroid. Hands
Super
down.
Metroid was fun.
Dude, I
But-
was trying to play it at Will's, and like it was taking too long to get through the intro. I didn't even want to sit through it.
All right. I don't know about you, but that's like one. All right.
But that
First, I
game's
gotta
fun.
say this: Super Nintendo is hooked up in the bathroom stall, so if I say one usage, you know what I mean. So, like the intro took about one usage, and then after that, I can just plug in and play whenever I want. So I think it works out pretty good for in the stall anyway.
Okay, so
Maybe next time I go in there, I'll enjoy myself a little more.
I think-
I was like,
I ju-
wow, this is taking too long, and you can't skip it.
As
No.
far as games that came out like around that time, I think it was way ahead of its time.
It was
Dude,
kind of.
To be completely honest with you, I'd rather play any of the Star Wars games.
Oh,
rather
Super
than the
Star
Super
Wars?
Metroid games.
Super
Those
Metroid
games
is
are
awesome.
awesome.
Super Metroid is awesome.
Super Empire Strikes Back, I would say, is pretty good. Like, Super Star Wars is hard.
It's
Super
really hard.
Return of the Jedi is way too easy. And then Super Empire Strikes Back, I'm like, yeah, this is a good medium.
They
this
nailed
is,
it.
This is perfect. You know, just like the movies, right?
It's true.
So. But also a good Super Nintendo game, though it's not technically made for the Super Nintendo, is Tetris. So,
yeah.
And then Dr. Mario.
Tetris
Those
Dr.
are probably,
Mario combo.
like, yeah, I had the Tetris Dr. Mario combo growing up. I think that's the game I actually played the most
See,
for
it was
Super
Mario
Nintendo.
Kart. I enjoyed it the most.
I did play
It was
Super
easy. It was
Super
easy
Mario
to get the
Kart.
hang of.
Oh, yeah. Well, then, like, it was easy, like, the 50cc and the 100cc, like, you could beat those races pretty easy, but then, like, you got to the 150cc, and those were still really hard.
Yeah.
And so it was like, you could change your difficulty, and, like, because on 50cc's, you beat them by, like, 3 laps every time.
Yeah.
And then, like, 150cc, you're, like, struggling to get fourth. But it's pretty fun.
I played like a lot of those games that are pretty popular, but a lot of the ones I'm really fond of are games that not a lot of people have heard of, like Arrow the Acrobat. You heard of that one?
Oh, yeah.
Games that are like they're actually pretty bad, but those were like growing up. Arrow the Acrobat. I think was it Bugsy?
Yeah,
Bugsy. Do you remember the Chester Cheetah games?
Yeah, those were mine.
Alright.
Did you ever play the 7-Up games?
Yeah.
So I have this game that it's like impossible. I can't get past the first level. Is like impossible controls, but for some reason I just want to beat it, and I need to sit down sometime and just beat it. It's called like Identity Crisis or something like that.
yeah.
And
That game's
like
hard.
the guy, he starts out, this guy like, escapes from some facility and like crash lands in a jungle, and like I have no idea what's going on. But I just want to.
Yeah, that game's crazy.
That's my brother Steven's favorite game of all time. Do you remember Black Star?
I
one with
vaguely.
The shotgun and the prisoners.
Dude,
Oh yeah,
I remember that game.
I think it's made by Blizzard.
yeah, I remember
It
that.
was
one.
made by Blizzard and Virgin Mobile.
Was it?
Or
Virgin
Virgin.
made the Lion King game as well.
Yeah.
It did. I own that game. It's
Which
awesome.
is a great game.
It is.
That is-
I like
Yeah.
that game.
That
The
game-
Aladdin game is the best of the Disney games.
Yeah.
True.
Well-
Hardest of the Disney Jungle Book.
Jungle Book
Jungle
is
Book's
super hard.
Way hard.
But okay, I think Jungle Book I can like throughout the whole game it's really hard. The Lion King game though, the Hakuna Matata level is impossible.
It's like the one part in the movie where he is supposed to be like relaxing and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then like
It's the
giant
most frenzied thing
giant
ever.
boulders fall on you and kill
Yeah,
you.
you're like there's like the logs falling down the waterfall and you have to like hop on them just perfect to
I
get
remember
across.
in Aladdin, the copy that we had a glitch at the first boss. So the dude's sword was always just going. So you couldn't kill him. You make it to the first boss every time, but you couldn't kill him. So we just sold it and bought a new one, and I beat the boss, and I was like, what? Like, I did it. And it was awesome once playing it all
How
over.
many times did you play through it just thinking you were doing something wrong? Like
a lot. Probably like 20. Because it only took me like 15 minutes to get there.
yeah, it doesn't take that.
The Toy Story game, have you ever played that one?
That was pretty.
That's
That was pretty
hard.
hard. The 3D level on the claw.
Yeah.
That level was so
it's
great.
like it's like a side scroller
Dude,
game, then
just
all of a
that
sudden
level
it
where
turns
you have
into
to get
Doom.
past Buzz.
Yeah.
It's like
What?
Doom
Where you have
Star
to
and
race
Woody.
Buzz is super.
Oh, that level is hard. Where you, and like you have to keep getting the batteries.
Yeah.
And like you never get enough, and you're always like turning and crashing into stuff.
I played the
That was tough.
the Buzz Lightyear game for the PC that came out around the time Toy Story came out. Toy Story 2 came out.
I think that was also for N64.
Was it for N64 too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
And
yeah,
that game was hard.
That was a
game's-
different color cartridge. It was like blue.
Yeah.
yeah.
Toy Story one.
There.
There were
I'm trying to
several
think
games.
of the different color cartridges.
Well,
out
like
there.
Donkey Kong Country 64 had the
Yeah.
yellow
Yellow.
one,
So
which
did-
was the most
Doom
disappointing
was
thing.
red, right?
One of the James Bond games was blue.
Madden was blue.
Two, and of course the Zelda games came in gold cartridges at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
wasn't,
Sarge's Army's
Was
Heroes
Wasn't-
was green.
wasn't Majora's Mask like a funky color?
It was gold too.
Was it gold?
Yeah,
Okay.
both the Zelda games were gold at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had copies that were also just standard gray, but they had
Think-
at first release they were
Wasn't
gold.
Pokemon Stadium 2 blue?
Pokemon
Don't talk to me
Stadium.
about Pokemon.
Pokemon Stadium 2 was gold, I
Was it
think.
gold?
I think so. Maybe half of it was gold, half of it was silver.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, to represent the handheld
I feel like
equivalents at the time period.
what is the game Dog with the jetpack? Jet
Force Gemini.
Was
That game is sweet.
That game is awesome.
Dog with a jetpack.
That game's pretty
I
broken.
wish
though.
that's what it was called.
Well, yeah, but it's awesome.
I like how
They should remake that franchise. That is an awesome property that needs
They
to
tried
be
to
remade.
make one for the Xbox. They tried to remake one or send up a sequel. It's like one of the first games they made. You had it.
Perfect Dark. Yeah.
Oh, Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was for N64 first.
Yeah, and then they tried to reboot it on the
Yeah,
360.
Perfect Dark 0.
Little launch
because
titles.
Microsoft bought Rare.
Yeah.
And that just tanked.
Well, and like
Well, now they make like Kinect games only. It's like what the
Yeah.
heck?
Well, none of the original studios there.
all right.
Oh,
Anyone
next
else?
person.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I still don't know what I want to talk about.
You
I
got
had
Just
something.
roll the dice.
Yeah.
That's me.
That's
Tim.
you.
I don't have a question.
You gotta think up something.
Man, because everything I've been listening to has been about sports lately, and
We'll
Oscar
talk about
Oscar
That's
knows
okay.
Oscar knows nothing about
Bring
sports.
on the sports.
Okay, let's talk about
This
actually.
is how Oscar learns more about
Okay,
sports.
let's actually just ask this question because it's been driving me nuts, and me and
Wait.
Isaac were talking about it earlier.
I almost
about-
just called this like I almost just misnamed our podcast.
Raw emotions.
It's
Yeah,
this
I
is
almost called it Intimate Encounters.
Whoa.
no, this is raw emotions. All right, so I'm just gonna ask you guys a question
Okay.
because of Manti Te'o. You guys probably don't know who that is.
I know
He
that.
knows who it is.
I knew who he is.
Okay, so because of him, could you have a girlfriend for 3 years and not know who it was? Like never see her? Like could you?
This
Do you
is
think
what he
this is
claims.
what he claims? He says that he had a girlfriend for 3 years, never met her.
It's strictly an online
Yeah,
thing.
all
She goes to Stanford and plays volleyball.
yeah, which she would be on like the website, the school
Exactly.
website.
And they play Stanford every year.
So he should have met her, and he claims
he
that.
went to the school twice.
So she apparently dies, in October. She has like leukemia and dies
before the Michigan game.
Yeah,
same week that his grandma dies.
It's like within 24 hours. And now,
his grandma dies 6 hours later. He gets a call saying your girlfriend's also dead.
It's not as uncommon as you think.
Okay, so now like
the pair is very.
So now 2 months later, or 2.5 months later, it's coming out that all of this is a lie. I mean, his grandma really died, so yeah.
But the
girlfriend never existed.
Right.
Could you be in the situation where because he's claiming that he didn't know she didn't exist.
Okay, so you're not asking me if I can make up a girlfriend for 3 years.
No,
that's easy.
I'm saying you think you're in a relationship for 3 years and you never make an effort to meet her, even though you go to her school twice.
Well, see, I think that part is the part that breaks it. Because it's like...
No, I mean, if I was a liar, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what it has to be.
Exactly.
I couldn't have an online relationship for 3 years.
He's like
3 years, so, and he's a super popular football player.
And you're telling me that you're...
Well, he's not. He's a college football athlete. So in a couple of years, he will be.
He was a Heisman,
next year.
Exactly.
Heisman finalist.
Yeah, he was a Heisman candidate, and it's like you're telling me your girlfriend wouldn't come see you or like do any thing.
His girlfriend died right before the ceremony.
I know. It's like she knows you're a candidate, and she wouldn't, and she knows she's terminally ill.
Well, no, she died before he was a candidate because she apparently died in October.
Well, that's the whole thing is people think he did this for the Heisman vote.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But that's like...
And he's trying to say, like, no, like, I would never. But it's like 3 years in an online relationship.
That's like... Okay, so think of it. 3 years, he would have been 19 when he started making up this story. How smart do you really think he is that at 19, he was like, if I do this for the next 3 years, and then my grandma dies, and then I'll tell people my girlfriend died too.
Who said, where did it come up that it had been 3 years? Did
he said that.
Yeah, he said that he met her 3 years ago.
2009 at Stanford.
Yes.
His dad said that. His dad.
And his dad's been claiming that like she came and went to Hawaii.
Yeah, and visited.
I just think that like this is the craziest sports story I've ever heard in my life.
Definitely.
It has nothing to do with sports. And it's
like
the craziest.
This came up the same week as Lance Armstrong going on Oprah. Remember how they made a huge deal about that?
Yeah, no one cares about Lance Armstrong anymore.
I'm like, I would so much rather see Manti Te'o on Oprah.
Well, he's going to sit down with Katie Couric now.
Oh.
But
he sat down for an off-camera interview with ESPN and said he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Craziest sports-related story about OJ. I mean...
No.
Dude, this is weirder. This is weirder.
No, because OJ killed his wife, or allegedly killed his wife.
Well, don't fit, man.
But,
must have quit.
But, that was pretty straightforward. But, this is, so convoluted. He had a girlfriend who didn't exist, but he believes that he had a girlfriend. He's either insane, mentally handicapped, or mentally unstable.
Or lying.
Yeah, or lying.
I'm pretty sure I've heard all those options for Jesus before.
Comparing Manti Te'o to Jesus?
No, Tim is.
No, but I think the four of us in this
never
room
said he got catfished by an online relationship.
You should explain to me what catfish is because I didn't know until yesterday.
Watch the MTV show Catfish. That'll explain it all to you.
There's a show about it?
Yeah.
Dude, and it's the best show ever.
It's hilarious.
It's the best.
Some of the people on that show are pretty dumb. They're Manti-dumb.
In the first episode, it's this girl who's been talking to this model for 8 months, and at the end of it, whatever, blah blah blah, they investigate. It's do you remember they made a movie called Catfish?
Okay, quick question: did the term come from that movie?
Yes.
Or was that a term before that movie came out?
No, it came from the movie.
Okay, so that movie.
But so they take people to meet their online relationships.
Yeah.
And so they find out who they are. They call them up. They're like, "Do you want to meet this person?" So they go meet, and this girl goes to this dude's house who she's been talking to for 8 months, and this girl comes out. She's like, "Hey," and says the name, and she's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Melissa, aka Mike." And she was like, "What?" And then there's only been one episode that ended up normal, but the rest are just oh man, that's weird.
That's messed up.
All right, that's all I had to talk about, and we've talked about catfishing now. So.
Catfishing.
Can we roll the die?
Well, Isaac's the last. Isaac's the
one.
only one left. So let's roll the die. Isaac, let's see if we roll a 1. We did not. We rolled a 3. William's up again. Actually, Isaac, just go.
Let's see. What do we got?
My question is, what is your question, Isaac?
Oh,
My
good
question.
And my question off that question is,
What is your question?
what is your question?
The segue question. Okay, let's see. What is the piece of technology that's coming out or you think is coming out that you think you probably want to purchase?
The next gen gaming console.
That's it?
Yeah,
What?
Probably
what version?
probably Microsoft's. Just to
Microsoft's?
yeah, because I'll just keep buying the Halo games because I know that at least one of this trilogy of Halo games is going to come out on the next gen console, and my guess is probably the next two.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'll probably buy that.
So the Wii U doesn't interest you?
Like the Wii U's cool because grew up with Nintendo, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know, you just don't have.
That
as
is
many...
weird because we all grew up with Nintendo,
Oh,
Yeah.
but then we just split off.
Yeah, well, it's like
Well, they've lagged way behind. Like GameCube was like, okay, I mean, I guess that's cool, but I want this PlayStation. And then like they came out with the next one. I was like, the Wii's pretty cool. Let me give it a try. I bought the Wii, and then I sold the Wii for the PlayStation 3, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Well, for me, the only appeal of the Wii at first was that it was significantly cheaper than the 360 and the PS3 at launch.
And the Wii U looks really cool, and the graphics are better than the PS3 and the Xbox 360, supposedly. I can't really see a difference.
Well, it's hard with a lot of games right now, though, because they're all just, like, ported games.
Well, yeah, and then I feel like as soon as, like, the PlayStation 4 or whatever they call it, and Microsoft's next system comes out, I feel like their graphics are going to just be a step ahead of the Wii U's.
And they will be.
Yeah, and so I just don't know. The Wii U, like, the whole thing where, like, the controller, like, it comes with one gamepad. But then if you want to get another gamepad,
like
they don't even
$100.
sell them right
Do
now.
they really not?
They don't have the regular gamepad.
The gamepads, I think, I could be wrong, it's either 3 or 6 hour battery life.
Yeah.
It's so bad. But they have
That's not bad at all.
I don't know. I
I
think
mean-
it might only be 3.
For what it is,
Yeah.
like, it's not that
Well, because that's running a
Yeah,
lot
not
of
at all.
energy.
But the
And like, I'm not gonna play 6 hours worth of games
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah, but a lot of
I
people
might.
do.
That's true.
There's definitely times.
come around March, I'm going to.
Mass Effect, I played like 12 hours straight on that game sometimes.
the Pro controller they launched, have you seen those?
No.
The one that looks like exactly like a 360
those
controller.
Things get like 60 hours of battery life. They're crazy.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's
I
just
could be
like a
wrong on these
360
numbers.
controller except it has a D-pad.
Ballpark.
Ballpark. It's like 16.
Yeah, but I think the fact that like you can't even purchase an extra gamepad, like you can't. They're not. I don't know if they are now, but at first, at the launch, they weren't selling gamepads individually. You had to buy a system to get a gamepad, and then if you wanted a second one, you had to buy a second system. Like that was
That's
the only.
stupid.
So and eventually they say they are. I don't know if they already have or not. I haven't been paying attention.
Well,
Have you felt the gamepads?
I've played
Yes.
Wii U.
I think it
You have
feels
played
good.
it?
I played a Wii U, and it's pretty.
I think the
like it.
gamepad felt a lot better than I thought it was.
Yeah, I
going
thought
to.
it was going to be bigger.
It felt a
than
lot
it
cheaper
was.
than I thought it was going
I
to
didn't
I
think it
thought-
felt cheap at
no.
all,
I thought it was even like
and it
not-
handled well as well.
I guess, but even
I like
PS3
the
controllers
idea
to me,
of
I like
having
the
all the
weight.
menus and stuff on there. Like that's really cool.
That is cool.
Being able to select all your stuff and having a map down there and everything.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
I would probably just stick with the PS4. I don't want to go to Microsoft just because I don't want to pay for online service. That's just stupid to me.
Yeah, well, I understand not wanting to pay for it, but at the same time, like the security issues that
Well, those don't
PlayStation has
exist
had in the
anymore.
past, and like, but you never know. Like they could because
Well, you never know that Microsoft.
Well, it's like
could, too.
Anonymous hacked them. Anonymous has hacked crazy stuff.
that's true.
Like
but-
that was Anonymous.
That's true. But at the same time, like I just, and then to me the
and
main,
then we got free games.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was great.
the main,
Which was really great.
the main issue I have
Thank you, Anonymous.
with the with Microsoft, the biggest thing with the 360 is that it doesn't have a Blu-ray player. That's the one thing that
they chose the wrong side.
if Microsoft's next system, they don't find a way to be able to get Blu-ray functionality, which I'm sure they probably will, but if they can't, then that would be like then I would consider switching over to
The Wii U doesn't play Blu-rays.
Yeah.
No, that's because like
It's got a proprietary disc format.
They-
It's kind of
they-
Nintendo's thing.
they're like we're just games. We don't want to be everything else.
Well, but at the same time, they're wanting it to be more than they want it to be a social
Well, like,
console with.
but
the
they don't
Miiverse
want
and-
it to be like, which is weird. Like I read
doesn't
that
make
in
any
an
sense.
interview, and then they
Just
have a
like-
Netflix app on there.
Just like Reggie being so adamantly against HD. I'm like, why? That makes no sense.
And
He's like, the Wii is just not HD. I'm like, That makes no sense.
And Microsoft is pushing really hard to get the 360 to be a home entertainment system, and for a lot of people, it is. Like if you get, Verizon or Xfinity, I think that's Verizon, right? There's a couple
The
cable.
Xfinity I think it's owned by Verizon.
A couple cable services, you can use your 360 as a set-top box now and use it as a DVR.
That's cool.
So, I mean, I could be wrong about the DVR part, but I know you can use it as a set-top box.
I know that, like, I use my PlayStation for everything because we don't get cable or anything, and we have Netflix and Hulu Plus.
Yeah.
So I just, like, watch TV on it, watch movies on it, play games on it.
Plus, you can play
Blu-rays.
Plus, it's a Blu-ray player.
The 360 and the PlayStation 3, both you can get, like, your NBA packages, NHL, NFL, all of your sports packages.
Yeah, if
you can get the Sunday ticket for the PlayStation.
So that's like I think both of those
you can do, like,
systems are
everything on there if you want to, really.
Yeah,
like,
awesome.
I can watch YouTube on there.
Yeah.
Like,
I do a lot.
That's a big time waster. I've spent too many nights staying up too late just sitting on and browsing the YouTube videos.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like Netflix or the PS3's new YouTube app.
It's a nice
Have you used
app.
the phone integration at all?
No.
It's pretty cool.
The one thing that kind of sucks is the typing. Like, I wish it was just a keyboard.
Download the app on your phone, and you can use your phone.
I have an app, YouTube app on my phone.
Well, like you can get an app for your PS3, and you can just swipe the videos from your phone straight to your PS3, and
that's sweet.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's kind of like what they're doing with Smart Glass, but they made it just for YouTube.
Something that for the PS4, something that's kind of scaring me is that they're thinking, like, people are thinking they might abandon the DualShock controller.
For what?
I don't know, like make a new style controller. But like ever since the beginning, it's pretty much been the same. Like they added the analog sticks on a little ways into the PlayStation 1's life.
Yeah.
But then like after that, it's pretty much been the same. Like they added in the Motion Plus or whatever,
which is
and like
worthless.
Really? It's like throw grenades in Uncharted by shaking your controllers. Like I'll just press this button.
Do the DualShock 2s? Do those things have 6-axis?
No.
Because, like, some, like, Killzone 3, you have to use 6-axis to play that game.
Really?
Yeah, like, there's a couple parts in the game where it's, like, turn the wheel to, like, release a pressure valve or something and stuff.
See, honestly, like, I don't even remember the 6-axis 99% of the time.
I feel so unconfident about all of my facts today. I'm definitely going to do some more research for next time.
Like, I've never played the Killzone games. Like, or the Resistance games. I'm a big sports game guy, and you don't need 6-axis for that.
No, but
man, you throw your football with the 6-axis controller.
I'm just scared. I'm just scared that like it's gonna, because it's such a faithful like controller design and it's so easy to use everything.
Yeah.
And it's like if I'm scared they're just gonna ruin it and that's like a terrible design for the new controller.
I think
I have faith in Sony. I like Sony.
Yeah. I'm definitely more of a Microsoft fanboy, but I don't have any qualms with Sony. Like it just happened to be what I ended up with, and I like it a lot. In my personal opinion, the 360 controller is my all-time favorite controller. Just the weight and the way it feels in your hand, I just love it.
The which one?
The 360 controller.
For some reason, I thought you said N64.
Yeah, N64 by far.
Every time I switch back to N64, I hate it.
The three-handed controller.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Well, you don't even need the D-pad, though. In the 64, it's like.
But could you imagine if they chopped it off?
Well, you do need it in some games, like
but the
WCW NWO Revenge.
Yeah, you need it to taunt.
You move with the D-pad in that game, and you taunt with the stick.
All the games that you use the D-pad on the 64 are the worst games, though.
No, Revenge is awesome,
dude. WCW is
WCW is fun game, but you can't honestly come out and say this is a really good game.
Oh, can't I?
You can, but then you're just like Manti Te'o.
Dude,
a liar.
I bought
At
that
least
game,
Revenge
and
exists.
I loved that game.
At least
true.
WCW
Yeah,
exists.
I played it.
People have watched me play it.
Other people own it and have played it.
Hopefully,
Unlike Matt at today's girlfriend.
yeah.
I-oh.
A little too risky there.
So,
are we wrapping this up?
Anyone have any other questions for Tim off of this?
Questions on questions.
Questions
Stacks on stacks on stacks.
On questions on questions.
No.
All right. If anyone is listening,
email us
to this.
Email us at Facebook.
Throw us some questions.
Do that. Yeah, like throw some questions our way. After we all do our questions, if there are any questions next time, we can answer those questions.
We'll do viewer mail, and if you don't send anything in, we'll make it up like we got viewer mail.
Monte Teo style. And also, if you think you have a better title for it than Isaac, throw it at us.
Yeah.
You're probably wrong, but give it a go.
Raw Emotions Podcast.
Oh, right.
What'd you say?
Him in encounters.
Get out of here.
I'm stuck on Will's idea.
Raw Emotions.
Raw Emotions. I am all behind Raw Emotions. I think it's great.
WWF Raw Emotions.
I
think that it's the best because it doesn't really make any sense.
Doesn't
Because
make
I
any
don't feel like we had any emotional talks
Nope.
whatsoever. And it wasn't raw.
The
It was
most emotional it got was when Tim was talking about Donkey Kong Country.
That's true. I'm very passionate about
There were
Donkey Kong
tears
Country.
in his eyes.
That's true.
It's
And
like-
when I say Donkey Kong Country, for people who are listening, I mean all three of them. Now, I'm not saying that the third Donkey Kong Country is a good game, but I put it up there because I love the first one so much. I just make the trilogy.
Which one is?
So if you want to argue with me and you're like, just say,
Trying to
send us
think.
something.
Who are you in
Send
the third
hate mail towards Tim.
The third one, you're Trudy,
Make
and then you're
Tim-
like the baby
Here's
one that like
Make
stops
Tim
and
your
cries
strong
all the
one?
time.
I literally don't think I ever played the third one.
I want to find it somewhere because you cannot find the cartridge in a
It's
store. You
probably
can
with-
buy it online
It's probably with E.T. in Nevada.
Probably.
Phil.
because it's awesome. You
You
know,
should take a road trip there.
It shouldn't be called Donkey
Dig up
Kong
a copy.
Country.
that's true. Well, okay, yeah, the second one I understand why it's called Donkey Kong Country.
Well, plus
because
it's got
Diddy-
the subtitle.
Yeah,
Diddy Kong.
and Diddy is going to. Well, Donkey Kong Country 3 has a subtitle too.
Well, don't you save Donkey Kong in the third one too?
Yeah,
plays the girl, don't you?
vaguely. You play as Dixie.
Dude, I like that one.
Well,
What's
no, that's in the second one.
Well,
Diddy and
she's
Dixie.
the leader.
Diddy
of
and Dixie. Then the
third one,
The
too.
third one, it's Dixie and Baby Kong.
Dixie's in more games than actual Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Well, no, Donkey's in those.
He's
games.
in all. Yeah, because he's
You
safe.
rescue him.
Yeah, he's some lame hero, huh?
Yeah, but then okay,
He gets rescued in 2 of his games.
but then
He
Donkey
gets
Kong.
rescued in Donkey Kong Jr. too.
Donkey Kong Country Returns for
That
the
game is
Wii
awesome.
is a good game.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's
That
really
is a
good.
great game.
The
It's
art
a game
style's
if
fantastic.
you're looking for
Yeah.
a good Wii game, play it
I
because
wanna
it's
play that
it's
game.
not like the other Donkey Kong games because it's mostly made as a one-player game. You can play it with 2 people, but it's more
It's
fun.
weird.
It's more fun just as a one-player game
Yeah,
because Diddy just makes Donkey better because like you get the jetpack and stuff.
yeah.
But so that's a great game to play.
I think that game is like, and the argument, our game's art. I think that game's a perfect example.
Yeah, that's
a
true.
good example. It after that game came out, every platformer for a while after it had to have a sunset silhouette level, where like the foreground and the characters were just solid black, and the background was like all red and yellows. And
Do they do that in Rayman Legends too?
Yeah, there's an there's a level in Rayman Origins that's like that.
All right, well, we should wrap this up.
Let's wrap her up.
All right, this was Raw Emotions, the greatest podcast you'll ever listen to that doesn't follow its title. Yeah, so get a hold of us however we post this.
Go on Twitter, go on Facebook. Heck, I'll make a Raw Emotions Twitter account.
All right, yeah.
Snap. You heard it here first.
And
on
next
Raw
time we will
Emotions.
live tweet when we are
Nice. Okay, so that means I have to make a
admitting our
Twitter.
emotions.
Yeah.
I'll have to make a Twitter.
And we'll follow. It'll just be us following Raw Emotions.
Yeah.
Probably.
But that's okay.
hopefully,
Isaac McCall at.
hopefully, we'll have to figure
I
out.
don't know my Twitter
You
name,
know your
to
Twitter
be
name?
completely honest with
Yeah,
you.
we'll have those next time on Raw Emotions.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is us. We're signing off, and
I'm
We'll
Will
see
Bailey.
you when we see you. Because it probably
That's
won't be
Isaac
next week.
McCall.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
Tim
I'm
Vigil.
Isaac. And that's Oscar.
I guess I sign out for everyone.
yeah, I guess so.
I guess
So good luck and God bless.
We'll pull this together. Stay classy.